Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gunpowder and Freedom. So, really gonna switch things up on you. I know oftentimes when I show you some of the work that we do on this channel, it's mainly countertops, but as you can see behind me, we're at this pretty awesome looking barn, and we are going to do an acid stain finish on the basement floor here. So, me and Matt just got everything unloaded. I'll get set up down there and I'll show you guys what's going on. Okay, so here's the stairs that bring you down into the basement. They're gonna have a bar area here, a wine cellar there, a little garage area here. So they wanted to dress this floor up, and I told them the best way to do this, least maintenance, probably something along the lines of an acid stained floor. If you get into the epoxy overlays, those are really nice and those are really cool, but they said they didn't really want anything like that high gloss, that super, super nice looking. It's gonna be a room for having some drinks with some friends over, stuff like that. So they want it to look a little bit more rustic. So I said then the acid stain is definitely the way to go. Now, with this, there's a lot of stuff you need to watch for. One thing is cracks, right like that. Some people will say you can fill those in. I strongly recommend it because the crack filler most of the times has some sort of silicone base to it so that it'll flex with your crack. If it has a silicone base, it doesn't accept that acid stain. So you end up with a highlighted crack. It's filled in, but it's highlighted and it doesn't stain. Any other cementitious crack filler that doesn't have a silicone base, whether it's just like straight Portland, it's not the same mixture as the rest of the floor. So it will accept the stain, but it's not going to look the same. And again, you'll end up with just a very highlighted line. So the best thing to do with cracks like that is just to let them go or emphasize them with a grinder and then do different shades. They opted to just let them go as is. And we're just going to use two different colors on this floor with our Elements water-based acid stain. And yeah, this is kind of a very long process. The first step is we need to clean, acid etch the floor, and then neutralize it. So that's what me and Matt are working on today. So I'm going to get everything up, and I'll probably do a voiceover on that because I'm a little anxious to get going on this. Okay, so we sped through the time lapse real quick. Believe it or not, me and Matt actually got all this plastic off. And what'd you say, Matt, like 5 minutes? It was 7. Oh, 7 minutes, okay. Just kidding. These are really nice doors, so we wanted to take our time, tape off the doors, tape off underneath the steps here, these pillars. This is actually a bathroom. I apologize about that. I thought this was a wine cellar, but it's a bathroom. We still went ahead and taped everything off in there. Want it to look as nice as we can. The stone, the tape wasn't really sticking all too well. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna have a shield for when we're actually laying the acid stain. We're gonna use a shield just to help block off that wall so that the air doesn't get underneath that plastic and pull it up. This wall, they said, don't worry about. It's not finished right now, obviously. They still need to finish that. And then in the utility room here, we're going to go ahead and just shield all of the walls. So now that this room's done, we're going to jump over to the really easy part, and get this room done. Last room's done. So now that everything's all plasticed off, we're going to go ahead and give it a sweep, go around and scrape up any more chunks of debris, and we'll be back tomorrow to start etching. Alright everybody, so back here at this floor that we're getting ready to acid stain, yesterday Matt and I hung up all this plastic. The guys came over and cut out about 2 feet off this bottom so that we can etch and stain the whole way out. Some debris blew in, no big deal, just give that a quick sweep, and then we're good to start our etching process. Now that is a little bit more involved, so probably just gonna do some voiceovers during that so you guys can see the work and then also hear about what we're doing. But really quick, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that actually went over to our merchandise store and checked out everything that we had to offer. There's never any pressure to buy anything. The only thing I ask is that if you do go visit our store, which the link is in the description, just pop back over to the video, drop me a comment, let me know some feedback. You know, I've never designed any sort of clothing or merchandise, so any feedback I have from you guys is always the best possible thing I can get. You know, sales are great, but feedback is even better, because then I know how to adjust the products to what you guys like, to what you guys want. You know, if you see something that you like but you wish there was a different design, let me know that. If there's a certain product that you wish, you know, was on the store, let me know and I'll see what all I can offer. But that is the best possible thing that you guys can give me in return, is feedback. So thank you to everybody that did buy stuff. Thank you guys to everybody that provided me with some sort of feedback, and I appreciate everybody's support. So let's get to work. So we have our Butterfield Cho concrete cleaner. It's an etching material as well, so it'll clean out the pores. It'll open up any other pores for our acid stain to actually grip onto and bind to. 1 pound mixes with 1 gallon of water. Mix it up real good, dump it on the floor, and scrub it around. When using the Cho etching cleaner, make sure you do not let it dry. If you're in the process of scrubbing and you notice some duller areas because it's drying, take your hose and wet the floor down. If it dries, then it leaves a white powdery residue that's very hard to get off. For your neutralizer, you want to use baking soda and water or ammonia and water. I chose to use ammonia, and you want to dilute that down to 1 cup of ammonia and 1 gallon of water. Yeah, that's a little bit of a workout. But as you can see, the floor is nice and clean. Probably the cleanest it's ever been. So now it's just the waiting game of when the acid's going to come in. Once our Butterfield Elements water-based acid stain comes in, we can go ahead, bring our air compressor over and get this floor colored and stained, and then after that, sealing. So a little bit of a process to prep it to make sure that color binds and it's going to look as saturated as possible while kind of giving you that natural kind of variation that a lot of the stone has. That's what we're going for with these kind of jobs, these kind of looks. So with all of that being said, it's pretty important that you follow these steps, kind of 100%, just because if you don't do something right, then you either end up with too much of the concrete cleaner or not enough. If there's too much, then you end up with a white residue all over the place when you try to neutralize it. If you don't have enough, it's not going to clean the surface. And then same thing with the neutralizer. If you don't use enough, it's not really going to neutralize the cleaner like it should. So then whenever you put the acid stain on, it's not going to it's not going to react the way you want it. And then again, if you put too much in, it is pneumonia or ammonia, whatever it is. You know, it just stinks to high heaven, and you need a really, really good respirator in order to deal with it. That we diluted it down pretty mild. It was like one cup to 1 gallon, and you know, it's not too bad. You know, the simple dust mask really helped to block out the smell. But yeah, I mean, it's looking good. So whenever the acid comes in, we'll be back to do that. All right, everybody, so it's Friday. We're back here at this floor, getting ready to add the colored stain to this. Matt and I got it all cleaned up, and we weren't able to be here yesterday. The stain hadn't come in. Had a small conversation with the builder, as well as the one gentleman that was working here. I believe he was an electrician. Everybody was on an understanding that this floor needs to remain as clean as possible, but they had work to do upstairs, you know, asking about what they can do, what they can't do. Basically just told them if they can stay off it, great. If, you know, they're working upstairs and a little bit of dust or something falls, that's fine. You know, I have my battery powered DeWalt leaf blower here to go around and just blow off any topical debris that may or may not be lingering. See a couple things, but all in all, the floor's looking good. So after I get the top blown off, I picked up this Graco Magnum airless painter. They say this is good for paints as well as stains. So we're going to go ahead and give this a try. Hopefully that'll help minimize any sort of overspray and really help, especially along the areas where we had to tape the stone. The tape wasn't really sticking all that well, so I was just a little worried with using an air sprayer, having some air get up under there, taking stain with it, and yeah, so, oh, there's Briar. Hey, puppy dog. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, camera set up, get this refloated off, and then start staining. For your Butterfield Elements stain, you want to mix that to a ratio of 1:1. 1 jug of stain to 1 gallon of water. Make sure that when you're mixing this up, you take some of your water and mix it into the jug to shake it around and get all of the stain out of it. Once you have it all in the bucket, you can mix it up with a stirring stick or a paddle mixer on an electric drill. Okay, so there's the first room done. I had to adjust the sprayer, and that's why we started in the utility room, was so that we could kind of get the air gun situated to what we needed. As you can see where I stopped spraying for my shielding, we do have a little bit of a line, but when we apply our next color, I can't pronounce that, it's something that starts with an S, that'll really help to blend it in. So now we're gonna back up here and probably jump to this side over here and work our way this way, and we'll work this whole room out to there. When spraying the stain on, you want to make sure you use something that has consistent pressure. If you use a regular pump sprayer, it's going to look really blotchy. I chose to use my electric paint sprayer so that I could have consistent pressure, it would go on nice and even, and everything would look great. Okay, so there's coat number 2 of the Kona brown. I got to tell you, that darkened up a lot more than I was expecting. And I'm a really big fan of, I guess the best way to say it is the consistency between the lighter areas and darker areas. I feel like a lot of times on acid stain jobs like this, you'll see a lot of splotchiness. Now that could be a number of reasons. It's, you know, I'm not sitting here saying the contractor did something wrong when it looks like that, but you know, acid reacts to the concrete and the amount of pores that are opened. So when you have a floor like this that is a power troweled floor, that means the top is pretty much glassed over. There's not a whole lot of open pores, which is why the etching process is so important, because you want those pores to open. You want them to be open so they accept and receive the stain, and then you end up with a natural looking weathered piece of concrete. You know, it's a little bit backwards to kind of think about it like that you take a piece of concrete and then you make it look weathered and, you know, a little bit rustic. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of this. I enjoy the looks of it, and I also enjoy doing it. So I'm a big fan of this. Okay, so I just went around with the leaf blowers you saw, cleaned off the floor, and all the surface debris has been blown off. So now that that's done, we can use our shield, just a piece of cardboard, to go along and shield the wall. I know me and Matt hung this plastic, but this is a little bit more insurance to make sure we don't get any sealer going up underneath the plastic or in between these seams here and getting on this really nice antique barn wood. So I'm going to get the camera up, and that's when you're going to see the difference. This is my favorite part. You're really going to see all of this color just pop now. When applying the sealer, you want to make sure you use high pressure. This will keep your sealer coming out nice and even and help keep it from looking real blotchy. The sealer is going to pull out all of the color. It's going to make it look great. You want to make sure you keep your wand moving as well. If you stop and spray in one spot, it's going to look real blotchy and it won't look good. This sealer has a flattening agent to help keep the glare down since it's inside. Okay guys, so you just saw the first coat of sealer. I did hang out for about 10 or 15 minutes and throw a second coat of sealer on there. I was in a little bit of a hurry to get home and spend some time with Ellie Benelli. You gonna say hi? Say hi. And Rachel. So I didn't film that. So we got 2 light coats of sealer on this floor, and it is looking awesome. We have really good color variation throughout the entire floor, and I actually wasn't expecting to get that much color variation with just the Kona brown. So whenever I saw how, well, let me back up. I know I had said previously in this video that power troweling the floor really glazes the pores shut, and when you're acid staining a floor, that's really what you want, is you want a lot of the pores open. That's what reacts with the stain. The stain penetrates into the concrete. Some areas will accept it to go in deeper, other areas don't, and that's how you end up with the color variation. So with this being a power troweled floor, even etching it sometimes doesn't really give you as many pores to open up as you would like. So that's why I suggested we do the second color. However, whenever I saw how much color variation we had, it kind of matched what the homeowner wanted. So I had to pause on doing the second color, send out a few pictures. All parties agreed that, hey, that's pretty much what we're looking for. That looks great. There was a little bit of a concern with this spot over here, right where that light's hitting. I was taking pictures from the stairs. That spot did look a little gray in the pictures, and I said, hey man, that's that's just the picture. You know, it's not doing it justice. So we sealed it, it pulled out all of the color, and we have some really good definition. So we ended up just doing the Kona brown and not the secondary color, the Steigen. So I'm excited with how this turned out. So Miss Eleanor and I came down this morning to do a final cleanup. We have to pull off all the plastic on the walls and then get home and, I don't know, probably watch Mickey Mouse's Playhouse or something, right? I don't know, whatever you want to do. So I'm gonna put her down, I'm gonna get the camera set up, and probably, I don't even know if I'm gonna put this on the video, so here we go. Over here. Come here. We're gonna pull the plastic down. Don't step on the floor drains, okay? Where you at? So this was one of my main concerns here, was the stone wall. Briar's outside, she wants to come in and say hi. But the tape wasn't really sticking all that well on the stone, just a lot of dust and dirt there. So I was worried about the plastic kind of blowing up while we were spraying and staining the mortar. But as you can see, it held strong, and you know, everything worked out good. There's no stain on the mortar, there's no stain on any of the stone or the wood or the steps. Everything turned out awesome. The sealer went on just as good too. We didn't have any problems with the plastic blowing up and getting sealer on something that we didn't want sealer to get on. So, Eleanor, thank you very much for your help. Probably, no offense, Matt, but she might be probably the best helper. Just kidding. I want to give a huge thank you to Matt, who was down here helping me pretty much every day, as well as Ed the builder. He always like when we get opportunities like this to kind of showcase other work that we do. You know, he was great to work for. The communication was awesome. He kept me informed and up to date on, you know, how the whole build was progressing, so that we could make sure we had time in our schedule, as well as Jeff, the homeowner, for being very accommodating, not really minding that, you know, my hours are not that typical. So, you know, thank you guys for the flexibility, the opportunity to do this work, and of course the help doing it. So with all that being said, just a quick recap. We came in, we cleaned and etched the floor, me and Matt, and then we neutralized it. Then we squeegeed it dry. Then came back the following day and put stain on it. Came back the day after that and sealed it. And here me and Eleanor are now doing the final cleanup. So, Ellie Benelli, thanks for your help. I appreciate it. But I want to thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of Gunpowder and Freedom. If you like what you saw, please click like and subscribe. Don't forget to like us on Instagram. Don't forget to check out our store on Etsy. You know, if you have a couple minutes, pop over there, take a look at some of the products we have that we're offering. Pop back over here and drop me a comment. Let me know the feedback on that. It's a new thing for me, so I'm anxious to hear what you guys think of it. So, it's Sunday morning. We are headed home to enjoy what's left of our weekend. So, thanks guys. I'll see you next time.